Yeah, is this thing on? I think this thing's on. Welcome, everybody, to another Georgia Archery podcast. I'm your host, Big John Chandler, and this is where we talk about, well, anything and everything to do with archery in the state of Georgia and Georgia archers wherever they may shoot. And if you're listening to this, I have a guest. If you're looking, you can see him in the other panel over there. This gentleman has been in business in the archery world for 30 plus years in the state of Georgia. Um, he's been shooting a bow for a whole lot more than that because he's an old guy. Wild Bill Henneman from Wildcat Archery down in Pooler, Georgia. What's going on, Wild Bill?
Oh, just having a good, enjoying the life. Wanting to get out and get some hunting done. But you know what? I want to get everybody else out in the woods. You know what? And I'll wait until October. I'll wait till it cools down a little bit, and then I'll get out
It's
there.
got to cool off in your neck of the woods.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So I understand that it's not y'all down there where it's always hot
90
and
degrees
and and buggy.
and
You know, we're
100%
short.
humidity.
Oh, that's yes for sure. Anyway, so how was your weekend? Let's go straight to that. I ask all my guests, how was their weekend?
It was good. We had a great time. Went out. I scouted. Me and a buddy of mine. We went out and scouted a place out in Bullitt County, and we've got some deer on our camera. So, it's they're out there picking peanuts and everything. So the deer are all around. Um,
Yep.
in that area, and we got about 500-600 acres of nothing but swamp bottom that we can hunt, and that this gentleman's letting us hunt because they're eating up his crops.
Hey, that's if you let the word let you hunt means good something for sure because today everybody's got land but they want lots of money for it. So, to find somebody to work with you on that type of thing is awesome for sure. My weekend went like normal. I work on Saturdays, and this time of year, Saturdays is a very much working day.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
if they drop the bow out of the deer stand, or let their buddy draw it back one time and let it go, or can't get it hung on the anti-dry fire because crossbows are big in this area. That type of thing, all of that comes in, and then I'm off. We're closed Sunday and Monday, so Sunday, I did a little bit of maintenance at my property, moved some deer stands around, and did some stuff like that, getting ready for cooler weather, really, and spread out some feed for the deer, and did some trimming so I can have some better shooting lanes and that kind of stuff because it's so green. And as soon as it darn rained for the first time in however long, everything popped back in the spot. So I had to trim this one, cut that one. So that's what I did on Saturday, and or actually my Saturday, which is Sunday, and then I went back on Monday and finished up a few things. And I hunted. I did hunt Sunday morning, and didn't see anything. So,
Yeah,
but
our
that
weekend
was
was pretty much same kind of the same thing. Of course, you got to do the honeydews around the house. Make sure
oh yeah,
Mama stays happy when you got all those done, and then she don't mind too much if you take off and go hunting.
for sure. That's a fact.
But
Eric said hello, and Chuck says hello. Let's see. Um, who else? Bunch of folks is here. Thanks for joining. Oh, Bear's in the house. Good evening. Good evening. We appreciate everybody watching. If you don't know who Wild Bill is, go ahead and when did you start shop? How about that?
1995 started.
And
It was started that hunting season. And this it matters. It started out of necessity because a lot of I had been tournament shooting since the early '90s,
we'll
and
talk about that too.
so it started out of necessity. A lot of my friends that hunted, they wanted somebody to work on their bow, and so it's snowballed from there. And one of my one of my other friends, uh, he said, you gotta you gotta start your own shop, because there was only one part time shop, or in the area, and it was
And
only
it,
open in the evening times. And so I
well, Rodney's in the house.
I dabbled, I dabbled with it part time for a few years, and then uh, you know talked with my wife and everything, and it was a little thing. It was a little scary to start off, to quit a good paying job that I had
For sure.
benefits and all that kind of stuff, to start out and you know
And
run
and
the
hope.
shop full time.
That's right. And
Uh,
hope and pray that it was going to go as well as it needed to.
yeah, well, it was one of those things. I always kept my, I always kept my CDL, so I could always go back to working for a construction company, moving equipment and things like that.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I
Always
always had to fall back on.
always had a backup plan for sure.
And that was kind of how that went. And I'll be honest, I have not looked back since.
And then let's see, that was in when you opened up Shop. Then you moved what, two different locations or three different where you're at now? So
Uh,
that's how
two.
two.
I started out, with a small shop at my house, and then
Yep.
moved to a commercial location, in Richmond Hill, and that's where the whole name Wildcat Archery come from, was Richmond Hill Wildcats. I rode by the school one day because I lived down the road from it, and they were
Yep.
out there shooting. The kids were out there in the middle school shooting the bow,
Yep.
and it was at the time, and we were talking about different names and things like that. So I said, you know, I like Wildcat Archery, and it stuck.
And it
So
stuck.
we incorporated that, and it's haven't looked back since. I moved into a commercial location right up on Highway 17, and then uh, the guy that owned the property, he wanted to expand, make it bigger, build a shopping center, and so I had to make a decision as whether I was going to go back to the house or if I was going to do something else. And found a piece of property in Pooler, and uh, and it was kind of scary to start with, just taking a leap of faith to move up there and bite off this big mortgage, you know.
For
But
sure.
it was a commercial condo, so it was I was buying it for myself, and I wasn't renting nothing, and it worked out good. Um, you know, got the mortgage paid off the first of this year, and so it's all fine and dandy.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in there a few times. And you have a great place. You get a lot of folks from the base coming through, like, and you get it's a change. Not saying like your local group, everybody, you get your local guys that are always been around, come around and do the thing, but you get to see a whole bunch of different faces because you have changing at the base there. So that makes it interesting in itself.
We do, from Fort Stewart, Hunter. We get a lot of guys from the Marine Corps Air Station over in Buford. I got customers come all the way up from Kingsland, from the submarine base, naval station down there in Kingsland. Uh, because they're really up and down the coast from Charleston to Jacksonville. There's nobody else. There's
Just
nothing in
no,
Brunswick. So I mean, I had a guy that was stationed at over to the air station, and he got transferred up to Camp Lejeune. And once a year, he'd bring his buddies down. They'd load up in the truck and come to Savannah just to get their bows
but
worked.
that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. You gain new customers that may go somewhere else, like in their duties, and then they end up back at your shop anyway because you've picked them up as a great customer. So
Oh yeah,
that's
absolutely,
awesome.
absolutely, yeah.
That's awesome. So,
And
but yeah, that's what we do, right? We try to build customer service and give people great, service. Right? We're still a service industry. We're not
absolutely,
a, you know. I had a guy come in the other day and he goes, "Do you match Amazon?" I was like, "No, I don't match Amazon." I said, "Amazon doesn't pay my light bill." Um, and then so he comes back with those arrows, and I charge him a price to fletch them and a price to cut them. And he says, "Well, that makes me pay more than what I would have got them here." I was like, "Exactly."
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, um, the one guy goes, "Hey, can you cut these for me?" I said, "Where'd you get these from?" Because I had the same ones hanging on the shelf. He said, "Well, I got them offline." I said, "Why don't you send them and see if they'll cut them for you?" You know, and I happen to know him, and I said, "Well, why don't you just let them cut them for you?" And he goes, "Well, they don't do that." I'm like, "But I have the same arrows here. What was the savings?"
Yes. Yeah.
And he goes, and he goes, "Well, it was cheaper." I was like, "Okay, now you got to pay me to cut them, glue them, insert them, and you want some field tips." And he said, "Yep." I said, "Da da 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 da." He goes, "Well, now I'd have paid more for them than I did." I was like, "Exactly. It's the point. Y'all don't understand. We're not gouging anybody. Our pricing is not your pricing. I mean, we don't do that.
No.
We are just trying to make a living. And then if you put the service in, that darn bow press costs $700, $800, $900 to buy
Yep.
with all the fingers and all the pieces. That string jig cost a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time to run. But people, and then they want it the next day. You can't build it today. You can't build it. Why? You can't build it. Why? Wait. You're the 37th that came in today. So
that conversation goes on every day at our store.
I know.
You want it when?
Yep.
It's you hate to laugh, but that's
it's very comical.
It is, and we started back in July, because we build our own strings.
Yep.
And, we started back
until your
in
string
July,
jig tears up.
and we started then because we couldn't keep up buying them.
You had to start ordering.
We've got a fantastic string builder company. Jerry and Margie at Threads. They are, they're fantastic people. Have known them for years.
Oh yeah.
And they do their absolute best. But when it gets, when we're caught, the week before, we're all caught up. Everything's good. We got two or three bows hanging there waiting. And then after opening weekend, we've got 20 hanging
20, 25. That's right.
Broken. And,
not that's the guy who opened his bow after opening weekend because he forgot the date. It is, it's always been the second weekend of September forever. But all of a sudden he forgot and he goes, "Man, I put my bow up last year knowing I needed to get strings on it. And I got to go hunting this weekend." I'm like, "Well, I can get you a brand new set of strings today." And he's like, "Really?" I was like, "For sure. But you got to buy the bow that it's hooked to."
There
and
you go.
I just point to the wall. And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "That's the only way you're going to get strings today is to buy the bow that it's hooked to."
Yeah.
And there's been a few times that it's worked. Guys go, "All right, sell me a new bow." And then there's other times that they'll be like, "Oh, I'll just wait on the strings." So, or do you think this thing will last until I just got this one deer on camera that I need to, we're just going to go there. It's hilarious of what me and you and other archery shops across the state could put together this phone call list that of stupid stuff.
The best of phone calls.
Oh my God. Look, it could run. We could make a series out of it because it would take 2 months of filming and talking about it to get every excuse that we've heard or, that type of thing. But so, in archery news, besides us working our butts off, I'm glad that your shop's busy. I'm glad that you're making money. I hear some other places are not. There's pockets that are doing well, and then there's pockets that are not doing so well, which, it's ups and downs. It's the way it is. But in some archery news this week, Escalade Sports now owns Black Eagle and Bee Stinger.
No, Gold Tip.
Gold Tip and Bee Stinger.
Gold Tip and Bee Stinger.
Gold Tip.
I don't think Randy would I don't think
No,
Randy wants
Randy
to
ain't
sell
letting
out
that
Black
happen.
Eagle.
Yeah,
Yeah, right now.
Randy ain't going nowhere yet. You're right. You 25-ounce broadheads. That's a good one. 25-ounce broadheads. Look at this. This is what Chuck said he was asked. I'm gonna post it up so you can see. Had a guy ask about some 25-ounce broadheads,
Hmm.
and he needs 100 grains. That's what he needed.
Yeah.
So, but no, Gold Tip Bee Stinger, um, now owned by Escalade Sports. What say you?
I think it's going to be a great thing for Gold Tip and Bee Stinger to have uh, the people of Escalade, because Escalade is not just bear archery, trophy ridge, Cajun. It's not just that. They have a huge portfolio of outdoor sporting equipment,
For
and I
sure.
think that I think it's going to be a very good thing for Bee Stinger and Gold Tip, who have been struggling over the past few years in market share. Um,
Yes.
if they can you know, get some of their foot back, it's going to be a great combination.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Escalade Sports owns. I mean, I think they're the number one table tennis company builder, and they make basketball golds and everything else there is in the sports world. Um, so it's not like it's a company that's just an archery company. So they have a lot of backing in other places that are always, if one sport's not playing, the other is, right?
Right.
And so I do believe I feel the same way. I did see that John did an interview with Bo Junkie. So I haven't listened to it yet. So I'd like to hear what he had to say. I do know Tim is going with the company. He's now going to be with Escalade. So
Yeah, I
I
saw
did see
that, and
that.
that's Tim is
That's a smart. That's a smart move for Escalade. If that would
absolutely,
be the one of the dumbest things they ever did,
yeah,
is to get rid of Tim as far as that's concerned, because Tim has moved that product along when that product really wasn't moving.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
and
So
you're right, and Tim, he he's just very knowledgeable about archery in general. He has the time to tinker and play with stuff,
oh yeah,
and then he sits there and he shows you what he's doing as he's doing it, and
yeah.
that's
Why it should work or shouldn't work.
why exactly and then that's a uh, you know I thought it was a mistake that his last company let him go, because I think him and Paige Pierce were just phenomenal at
Oh, for
the
sure. He's
internet and the doing the videos and explaining how they get to the point of tuning their bows
yep.
and things like that. I just thought that was a big mistake, but you
Tim
know
is an
what?
asset for whatever company he's with. There's for sure.
Absolutely, and and Matthews was, I mean, they were real quick to snap him up.
That's right.
I don't think that I don't think they'll ever they won't ever regret that.
Yep. Well, I think it'll be a great thing. Also in the news, it's fixing to be November used to be it, but as we've seen in the last day or so, new bow season.
Yeah,
So companies releasing new products. Bear was the first, I'm assuming. If I don't know of anybody else to jump one. I know some stuff that came out in the middle of the season, but it really wasn't a 2026 product launch, where Bear just did their 2026 product launch in the last 2 days. So
yeah.
um,
Their Bears always been early. Um,
yeah, they've always been early, but this October 1st, I think it was the 15th one last time.
but, I mean, heck, there was times when PSE launched it in September. Uh, but they'll launch a few bows, and I've seen that. There's another Elite is another one. They've launched a few bows, and they're going to do a rollout, and they're going to launch a bow each month all the way up
Yep.
to the ATA show in January.
Yep.
And you know, being in this business as long as we have, uh, you know, the companies, they know the indoor season starts in December and January. You got
Yep.
your, some of your first big tournaments, then, and so to me, these companies need to look at getting their target bows out, and not so much concentrating on the hunting bow side until after they get these new target bows out.
You
And
preaching to the choir, brother.
yeah, but they want to make that fourth quarter look real good, so
That's exactly what it
they're
was.
getting they're
The way
getting
it
all
launched.
these pre-orders and programmed orders on the books, and
Yep.
and they're not getting the target bows out, and people are having to wait 6-8 weeks. Well, now they're up to crunch time when they're getting their bow, and they want to be able to have it tuned and ready to go to whether it's Vegas, Lancaster. This year
The Rumble is this
the
freaking
Rushmore
second week.
Rumble is going to be at
It's now the
ATA in January.
ATA.
Um,
100%.
so they all want to, everybody wants to have these target bows right off the bat. So I think that the industry needs to pay attention to that.
I like seeing the new bow launched at the last major event of the year.
Mm,
I think Elite did the right thing by launching their target bow at the ASA Classic, because it gave people time to get the order in, get the bow in, and now they've got that bow ready. Other companies that launch it in November, then you said the crunch time, I may not be headed to the Rumble with the new bow because I ain't had time to be behind it. I'm still shooting my old bow.
yeah.
And on the other side, I think there should not be a hunting season still running when all the new hunting bows run out.
I,
But
I agree. Let us dealers sell through.
sell through our stuff.
Yeah. And, but as well as I do, as soon as they launch a new hunting bow,
The old one is just dead.
just for instance, yesterday I had a customer come in. Bear had just launched their stuff, and he's looking for the new Alaskan Pro.
Yep.
So, you know,
We got an Alaskan hanging there.
I got Alaskan XTs hanging there, and
Yep.
but they want the new Alaskan
Out
Pro,
one. Yep.
and and so I got on the phone with my rep, and I ordered 6 of them last night. Just
Yep.
uh, just to have them, so I'll have them hopefully through Christmas and see how they go.
Yep.
But you know, when the rest of the companies are waiting until November to do their launches,
Yep.
Bears one step ahead. They're already
Okay. Yep.
they're already selling both.
From rumor has it, PSE will launch in the next week or so. Prime will launch in the next week or so. Elite is doing that. What I don't know what you call it, but a slow rollout of all of their products. And then Hoyt and Matthews usually mid-November, and everybody else, Darton will be out in the next week or so probably. So everybody's getting earlier and earlier and earlier, which I'm fine with that. Let's push it all the way. Look, launch them in July. If you want to kick off on our end of the world, if you want to kick new bows off, uh, kick them off in June or July.
There you go.
And that, and then do because that's when our that 4th of July light switch kicks on. If I had all new product to show then, and could carry it through till December, January, and not have to worry about, oh my God, I've got to get rid of this old one because the new one will be here and it ain't going to be no good. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But
You're right.
golf did the same thing. Golf did a used to be every year, then it was every 6 months they released something. And customers got to the point where they didn't want the newest anymore because they saw that every 6 months there was going to be a new one. So they waited for the new one to come out so that you would discount the old one every 6 months. So it backfired on them, you
Yeah,
know. So and they've slowly backed up in how they do things. So
and we see that too. They'll wait. Guys they'll wait to the end of the year and see how much of a deal they can get on 2025 stuff when knowing the 2026s are going to be showing up right around the corner.
for sure, that's exactly right. So a lot of folks have held up and not bought because they're like, well, we're at this point, we'll want to see what the new one is, or I'm going to get a deal on the old one or the other. But
Yeah, but the
Rodney
thing,
said Rodney
it's
said
just
somebody ordered an Elite after launch and then got it in 3 days.
yeah.
So,
Um,
you
that's you know
you know,
that's
it,
when
it,
you're on top of it, you're on top of it. But
that's right.
I know who he's talking about.
Yep.
He's he knows one of the sales reps, and he has was able to get it real.
Yeah. Well, I had one. We had one. We had the new tournament bow in the shop the day before the launch, so we had it there so that when they did launch, people could come in and shoot it, try it, touch it, and feel it if they wasn't at the ASA shoot. So,
Right.
which was good. I mean, and of course, uh, they always wanted this color or that color or whatever, and we could order off of it. So sometimes it's great to have one or two in so you can get orders placed off of it. So, but yeah, let's see who else. Let's just get into your what would you like to see from bow companies? You don't have to name one versus the other, but what would you like to see innovation wise in the archery world that could show up this year?
Oh man, after 30 years, every year I say, how can they get any
How
better?
can they get better
How can they
than they
get
do?
better? Well, there's only one company uh, that I can think of that needs to step up. I mean, I don't. Oh, that one right? Where is it? Right there. Oh, that one right there. You go.
Right there.
They need to come up with some kind of
A
tuning
tuning
system
system.
and get rid of get rid of the shims. Um, but I've got it on good word that
Maybe.
something's coming.
Yep.
But you
Yeah,
know,
I feel that way too.
the you know
You know,
the, all these companies have stepped up, and everybody. It doesn't matter what company it is, they all make fantastic products.
for
Uh,
sure.
you know, our warranty work on bows is next to nothing, and majority of the warranty work is still user error.
Oh well, yeah. I was gonna say, a lot of the what the companies are warranting really doesn't have to be warranted, right?
Yes,
It's
yes,
yeah, and but they're doing it because they're good companies. 90% of the stuff that we've seen off of bows are not a mechanical problem, a limb problem, a disc problem. You know, you remember the days that there were risers that would crack and limb pockets that would shatter, and then gosh go shoot his bow for 2 weeks and then he has no camo left on it. uh, you know those are manufacturer things, but they fixed a lot of that. And I think strings material has helped in that aspect of things, because you remember those stretch a lot strings on all the
oh,
bows.
oh
the
yeah,
limbs the limbs could handle things, but the strings would just give up the ghost. And so I think string material has helped that aspect of things for sure. But yeah, so yeah, tuning systems on bows. The bow company you mentioned earlier that released a bow mid season, um, price point bow with all the bells and whistles.
oh yeah.
Um,
That
good
newest
good kit.
ascend from Can I say it
Bowtech. Yep, you
from
can
the
say it.
Bowtech? I think it's
Bowtech
going to be a fantastic bow. It's a great price point. You know, you take a bow that's $8.99 retail bare bow, thirteen
with a
ninety
tuning
nine
system.
with 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 a great uh, accessory package, black gold, tight spot, rip cord. Um, you know, the
The Pure Archery Group owns some good products.
they do,
Yeah.
and they're and this is going to be a big seller. To have a flagship bow that is going to go out the door, with arrows and everything under $1,500, where
And a
most
tuning system.
and a tuning system.
A
Yes,
tuning system. One thing, I mean, I shot Bowtech for 5 years. All right.
I still do. I still got two other target bows.
I know you do, and there's nothing wrong with that bow. Um, but I shot for 5 years, worked with the company, this, that, and other. And my problem with Bowtech has always been they had the most tunable bow that nobody knew about. Most tunable bow that nobody knew about.
I'm getting pestered here.
Uh-uh.
I got now my dog.
Your dog wants to get in your lap.
She wants the ball.
Uh-huh. You throw it once, you're gonna have to throw it 1,000
I know
times.
it. That's why I'm holding on to it.
But I mean, I don't know if you felt the same way, but they had one of the most tunable bows that just nobody knew about. I mean, I really don't. I don't. It's not they made a bad product. I just don't think their marketing was where it needed to be.
And you're right. If you remember back 8-10 years ago when they come out with the Assassin, you remember that marketing. The girl that come up with that she wasn't even a marketing person, but
No.
when she come up with that Assassin,
Hmm.
and everything that was leading up into that, and to come out with that bow, I mean, I had people. I was at the trade show and did Facebook Live from there,
Yeah,
and I had people calling me from California,
that's
calling the
right.
store from California. Have you got one? Have you got? What do you think about it? And that's what the that's what these companies need. They need to get on some of these.
Shock and awe.
Yeah, exactly. Shock and all.
We said at the launch and the monster, right? When it shook that darn cage for 4 days and nobody knew what was underneath the covers. You remember that?
Yeah,
And then the Orange County Choppers comes out with a big motorcycle. I mean, it was a big deal
yep,
to launch bows. Now it's like, and I understand the internet is it's a different monster, right? Because now you can it's instant, right? Everybody can launch it. They don't have to spend $1 billion for people to be there to see it. They can launch it on the internet, and 1 billion people see it, and it costs them a whole lot less. I understand that, but some people like to grab attention, and if you got something that grabs attention, or build it up a little bit, then it goes over faster, and it creates a buzz as long as you can deliver. That's the other side of it. We were talking about other companies that get behind on orders, and you launch a product, but you can't get it for 4 months because they launched it and it was so good that uh, you know 8, 10 weeks later we're still waiting on product.
yes,
The
and
buzz is over, right? So
yeah,
you got to
and
be able to two sides of that. You got to be able to build the buzz, and then you got to be able to produce it. So
yeah, and you take these companies that that do that, and they launch their stuff, and then they get the orders, and pretty soon they're so far behind that you're waiting. I mean, most of both these companies, we got to, we order, 30, 40, 50 bows right off the rip. And, you know, they start trickling in. But I get guys, at the beginning of the year, they'll start calling. Do you have this? Do you have this bow in this color? Do you have this? Things like that. And whatever the newest, hottest color is, or whatever the bow
Yep.
is, you know, they're calling every dealer in,
Whoever's got it is getting it.
and whoever's got it, they will drive hours to go get it. And
I worked on two bows. Some customers of ours who called us when it launched and said, "Hey, do you have it?" I'm like, "Nope, it's coming, but I don't have it yet." Well, I want these colors. I was like, "Well, we can order them and make sure it's in our list, that kind of stuff, and we can get it, make sure it's coming." And got on an airplane, flew to another state, and got one or two. It was actually two bows. Come back with them in the box, and said, "All right, now I want you to set it up." And I hate it because, well, that's a sellout. We lose, but I also, it just has to do with who wears the big britches sometimes.
yeah,
So
that. On that note, what do you? Do you have a set charge when somebody brings you a bow for that to get it
yes,
set up?
yes, we do. $85 setup fee. That's before you buy anything.
And
Is our basic fee.
yeah,
So,
and that's
and then it could get worse. It can get a lot worse than that, but
yeah.
because
Well,
they're gonna need peeps and D loops and other stuff. But
and we're right there. I think we're at $75, but and that's basically just to
the labor.
set their make sure the draw length, poundage, peep,
Yep.
loop, things like that. And then if they want the extra tuning and all that stuff, then they if we got to install a rest, if we got to install all their if they don't buy their accessories, if we got to install them all, there's it's
It
time
can add up.
and labor, and
Yep.
the Georgia Power does not give us electricity for free.
No, I
They,
can't.
they don't.
Can I give you a hug? No, that ain't gonna pay the bills. I promise you.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I do feel, and being a brick and mortar store, and being an archery only shop, you definitely could tell, or help people understand what people go through. There's lots of places. I mean, we're lucky. We're an Ace Hardware store. We're hooked to another part of the shop, so we have some other affiliates, just like we talked about with Escalade Sports, not just being an archery company. They're also a sporting goods company. So they have money from one place that they can move to the other if needed, but you don't have that. You move it out of your bank account into the business bank account if you have to.
Yeah, and well, you know what today was October 1st. A lot of
It's
those,
October 1st.
a lot of those dating bills came due today. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so I had to borrow money from Rodney for lunch.
Oh yeah, well when you pay him well enough, he can loan you $1 or two.
He's pretty good. I
I
appreciate
like
it.
Rodney a lot. He's a
Yeah.
good fella. He's
Well, I don't. You haven't met
you know.
Sean, have you?
Yeah, I've met Sean
Have you
once.
met Sean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
both
met
of them. I'll
Sean.
tell you what, I'm real
Yeah.
lucky to have two really good techs right now. At at I had I had two for a long time.
You had two that were there for a very long time.
Yeah. Lost Steve to COVID, and
Yep.
Tony took another job, and
Hmm.
but it's still both of them were very much appreciated the whole time, and I still talk with Tony on occasions, um, it's but having Rodney and Sean, they're they're real good guys. They're good with customers, and we just I'm very fortunate to have a couple of really good guys that work with me and for me.
That's good. That's definitely. We got a good group we built at our shop too. With Mark, he's been in business forever. In the business side of archery. So he may not have been in the shop side of archery, but he's been on the business side of archery for a long time. And sometimes that point of view comes in very handy, you know. And then we got another Kenneth is back in the shop, and he's been doing this for I don't know how long now. And we brought him back in the archery world. And then we have another gentleman that has learned a lot, sort of like a, I guess, has and taken off. Great guy. Kevin does a great job. And then we have a couple of part timers that are, like archers that we have. We all do have those guys that come in and help out. And
We call them pro staffers.
Well, we got some pro staffers too. But we do have a couple of part time that we do pay on payroll. So Gabriella, she's a fletching machine.
I've got one of those too. That
oh my gosh,
Audrey, she comes in on Saturdays, and
yep.
I can't keep enough shafts in front of her. She,
Yeah.
she we had to grease the bearings on our Bitzenberger wheel. Since she's coming in, she's been coming in, and she keeps that thing going.
Yep.
I mean, she'll do 5-6 dozen arrows
In
a matter of a couple of hours.
That's right. And then we have Chris that comes in, and he works from. He has a day job, and he comes in the afternoon. When it's our busy part, that's like you said. You could sit there, and you get busy when you first open because everybody's waiting for you to open, and then there's a little lull somewhere in there lots of times, and then about an hour, 30 minutes before you close, everybody comes in and wants to get in your bow. So,
yeah.
They just but part of it's because what time you close and what time people get off work and that type of thing, so that all makes things so.
Yeah.
Keeping to college
hours. Everybody wants, can't be there 24/7. I mean, if you could, you just end up wearing yourself out.
It'd be a good way to die quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no doubt. I mean, you've been in this business long enough, and you spent them long nights working on stuff when it was just you, and then when you got a couple of guys, you sort of, and then it's one of those. It's like you gotta let them have a little bit of lead, but yet you still want to make sure that it's all done right because it's just been yours for so long. So it takes a little bit, but I think archery shops in a whole are that do good work and do great things. Get good customer service. I mean, that's the biggest thing people don't understand is the customer service side of things. Is you just got to treat the customer well. I mean, don't act like you know more than they do. Fill out what they want. Let them shoot all the bows. Try what they want to try. Tell them the goods and bads of every one of them and let them make their choice. And just be there for them,
I think we do a real good job at that. We keep, a couple of each bow manufacturers in the shooting range, and we use them for demos. That way, we're not
right.
grabbing one off the rack just to use as a demo bow, and then turn around and sell it. So I keep a long and a short, a 29 and a 33, and
That's right.
Of all the different manufacturers that we sell, we keep them in the range, and we'll change the mods and set it up to their draw length, set it up set it at the poundage they want, and and take them in there, let them shoot it as pretty much as they want until they can make up their mind. If they don't like this one, then we'll set up another one, and just let the customer try and make up his mind. There's some guys that you can't really, they can't make up their mind.
Oh yeah, and you have to help them.
You got to help them. You got to help them make up their mind. And
that's right.
And then some of the guys they don't never make up their mind. I sometimes wonder how they put their socks on in the morning.
Well, I like this one, but I like this one, but this one feels good on the draw, but this one feels good on the shot, and this one, doesn't it just doesn't sound as loud, and this one has a different sound, and I don't. It's like, okay, let's. Which one do you hate? Which one has the most negatives, and we're gonna take it out, and then we're gonna keep going until we get narrow it down some. And but yeah, people, you test drive vehicles. You really should test drive a bow.
Yeah,
Um,
and
you know,
that's it, because the bow that's right for your buddy is not right for you. You know,
no,
draw cycles are different, let off is different, the way it feels after the shot is different, and so it's a complete feel thing to each individual
for
person,
sure.
because what you like, I may not like. What I like, you may not like. You're going to set your stabilizers up a little different on your target bow than what I would. You're gonna set your let off a little different. You might want a little more let off, and like a little less let off. So it's
That's
it's
right.
everybody's got their own feel, and once you get the bow that you want, then you got to customize it and make it to where where it's right for you.
Exactly. Some people want a 19 3-pin vertical, horizontal slider, movers, 1 pin blue, 1 pin green, whatever. And we just got to make it fit them. So, I mean, that's the part that people don't understand is that time that we take as a customer service side, where if you call a company online and say, hey, you got this bow. Yep. Okay. You buy it. You get it home. How many times, if as your wife, and I'm not using her as don't, hey, please don't get this as mistaken, but sent back something that she ordered because when she got it, it wasn't what she wanted. I mean, we've all done it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I you know I can't tell you
So,
how many times that I've sent back stuff because once it got here, it
yeah,
wasn't as
yep,
advertised.
exactly. That's a fact. I mean, it's happened for everybody. So that's one thing that going into a shop and touching and feeling is something that and the shops are closing. I mean, as well as I do that there's there's less shops than there used to be.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
um, you know, and it's the ones that are doing well are usually the ones that are doing the best customer service. Yes, you can't please everybody, but we try our best to do what we can do. So, but let's move on to something a little different because we've just been talking shop for too long. But me and you've talked shop forever. Um, Archery. You competed. Did you not compete in the first ASA when it was
I
before
did.
ASA?
Yep, I still
Okay.
have my ASA number from the when it was the outdoor trail, number 257
With old Wayne
with
Pearson.
Lane Pearson. Yep,
That's right.
uh,
When he told us that we had to wear
collared
collared
shirts.
shirts
Yeah, he was going to
because
make
we
it
wasn't
like
gonna look
golf.
like a bunch of we wasn't gonna we wasn't gonna look like a bunch of rednecks sitting on the video.
Yeah,
Um, I remember those days. That was hilarious. I know you saw the picture Scott posted the other day from the
I,
first
I
year in
did from
Gainesville.
Gainesville.
Yep. And you were that shoot,
I
and I
was.
thought about it because everybody looks so much younger. I don't understand.
Yeah.
but
Well,
competition archery in a general has grown in a lot of ways and stayed the same in a lot of ways, right?
yes.
So we judged yardage. What was a what's a rangefinder?
Yeah.
You remember those
I mean,
days, right?
you know,
And
that rangefinder
yeah,
is,
yeah,
holding your
you
finger out there and which
that's
knuckle
right.
you know.
That's right. How big did it line up? Yep. Um, and I remember those. Travis still has one. I don't have one, but I remember those rangefinders that looked like a 110 camera. There's going to be
Kodak
a whole
camera.
lot of
Yeah.
millennials. Yeah, there's be a whole lot of millennials that say, "What's a 110 camera?" But it was that elongated whatever, and you'd roll that wheel until the two lines would line up, and it would tell you what it was.
Yep.
Um, it's it's come a long way in technology wise, right? If uh, uh, if Randy Elmer had the equipment that we have today, how much better of an archer score wise could he have been?
Um,
You
I,
know,
I think that I think that uh, he would have been a you know he'd been Levi Morgan before his time. You know. Uh,
Terry Ragsdale had
oh
the
yeah,
equipment today that he, to shoot back then. Oh my God.
yeah. I mean,
People don't understand those guys. They
when
paved the way for what we got.
they did, and some of those guys that and we've had a lot of fantastic shooters come out of Georgia, and
For sure.
you know,
100%.
do you remember the Nobles?
Yes.
They were out of Middle Georgia.
The Mill, Georgia.
Those guys, boy, they could shoot. They were
Yep.
shooting them PSE Mach sixes, and back in the day, uh, those guys. What was the other guy? He was out of North Carolina. Johnny. I don't know. I think he started
Anyway.
barefoot archery, anyways. But those
Yeah.
guys. I mean, when they were doing this, and everybody was judging yardage, and we took time to practice. It wasn't just a matter of hitting a dot at 50 yards. We had to hit that dot. And not knowing how far it was. You had to judge it. You
For
had to,
sure.
be within a yard or two on your estimation, and it just
Yeah, you definitely had to be within because your bow wasn't doing 290 feet per second. Your aluminum arrow with your 7-inch overdraw was not going 280 feet per second. That's what everybody today's people go, man, 280 feet. It's almost hard to make a bow get that slow today.
yeah, it's and God only knows how many aluminum arrows Easton had
Oh
scattered
my
through the woods
gosh.
down here in
Across
South
the
Georgia.
world.
2312s forever.
Forever. That's a fact. But yeah, that's the tournament. Tournament archery is not it's not the only thing we talk about, but I always want to bring it up because um, you know that's where most of us cut our teeth. Right? Was some type of tournament archery. And turned around. We may have been bow hunting, but our move into archery was tournament side move, to make it more than just I bought a bow at wherever and I pulled it out for hunting season and put it back up. The tournament archery kept us into archery all year long. So, yeah, I just thought that picture was pretty cool to see it with Travis and Scott and the rest of the guys from, and it's funny to see that how much people have changed but yet still the same, right?
Oh yeah.
And well, I tell you, when did you shoot 2D targets on Celsius barrels?
Well, yes, a few, some. I remember,
Okay.
when we shot the hips targets down at the outdoor
Yes.
trail with had
Outdoor
the
trail hips
had the
targets.
had the metal ring, and there was
Metal
no,
ring in it. There
you
ain't
were
no
either
pulling the
in you
line.
were in or out.
You ain't
It
gonna
was
pull a line. It was in it
uh
or it was out of it.
yeah.
And if you dinged, it was probably out of it.
But that was some of my first tournaments were those, and they
Yep.
were it was a lot of fun. I mean, getting to shoot with some of those guys that you saw that were going
Move.
pro.
Yes,
Um,
right.
that they a lot of those guys. When I was shooting semi-pro, I
Yep.
I was shooting with them. Chance Boboff. God, some of the those guys I used to shoot with them all the time. When we were shooting semi-pro open classes and
Yep.
stuff like
That's
that.
right.
Those guys. I mean, they just took it to another level.
For sure.
Uh, you
You're
know,
like, who the hell's that young kid? You know.
the fastest way to quit or to quit tournament archery is to open an archery shop.
For sure. Well, and it also limits your hunting too. So, if you love, look, here's a PSA for anybody listening. If you love archery and you love doing archery, no matter if it's hunting, um, tournaments, whatever, do not find you a good archery shop, but don't open one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because if you open one, that is no longer the first priority. So
Oh,
during tournament season, you're fixing tournament bows, and during hunting season, you're fixing hunting bows. And so the best mechanic has the worst running vehicle.
yeah.
Best painter. His house looks like hadn't been painted in 50 years, and the lawn service company, his yard looks like a jungle.
I've
Because
got
he's
I got
taking
a
care of
real
everybody
good
else.
friend that I've had for years. He was in the insurance business, and his little side gig was taking people, uh, fishing. You know,
Yep.
just down here on the coast, catching redfish, trout, things like that, and he uh, he got out of the insurance business and started a charter business full time. He
Yep.
can't stand to fish now.
No, he
I
hates
mean,
it.
he takes
Yep.
his customers. He's booked 5, 6 days a week,
Yep. And he
and
won't fish for
and
nothing now.
he don't want to fish for nothing.
Somebody asked me the other day, it's like, when do you practice? I'm like, I either practice before we go to work, I go in early and shoot a little bit, or I don't practice. And he said, why? I said, because if you've messed with it all day long, do you really want to pick your bow up?
Yeah.
You don't mess with everybody else's bow. Do you really want to pick your bow up? You want to go and just like escape the archery world after the end of the day, especially
Oh,
some days.
oh, yeah. I'll
But
get home and just kick back and have a cold beverage and
that's
just
right.
relax for a while.
100%. And you haven't tackled no crocodiles lately. So how's your
Uh,
how's your arms working there, sir?
well, those Crocs they got uh, they got thrown away before I even realized it. I guess by the time I by the time I got home, those Crocs were
Yep,
already in the trash.
I
Uh,
got you.
but to answer your question, it's coming along good. Physical therapy still twice a week. Getting a good range of motion back. We're starting to work strength. It's hard to uh, hold a I'm working with 3 and 5 pound weights, just trying to get some strength build up. After having a complete tear of the rotator cuff, bicep tendon, labrum. I mean, when I reached over here and felt my shoulder, this up here felt good, and the rest of my arm was down about three
Down
inches. Below
there, yeah,
that. Um,
yeah,
it was. When my doctor says it's a massive tear, that's pretty significant. So,
for sure.
um, and so I'm still doing, like I said, I'm still doing physical therapy. My goal is to uh, next spring, I'm going back to Alberta bear hunting, and hopefully I'll be going
Not
with a bow,
with a upright bow,
the
not a
vertical with a
crossbow.
vertical bow. That's my goal.
I got you. I understand that.
But
Well,
for this deer season,
hmm
when I do get to go, uh, that raven will do everything I
do what
want
it
it
needs to do.
to do what it
That's
needs to
right.
do.
Do what it needs to do. I understand. But dude, I appreciate all the chit chatting and having a good time, and tell everybody where you're located. what's the name of the shop? What's your hours and that type of stuff?
It's Wildcat Archery. We're at 1370 U.S. Highway 80 East in Pooler, Georgia. Our hours are Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturdays, 10 to 4. We're a full service archery shop. We sell Hoyt, Bowtech, Matthews, Bear, Elite, Darton every once in a while. But no, we you know if we you
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
we just we've been in business for 30 years, and you know we, from what I've been told, we're the oldest privately owned archery only shop in the southeast. And I've
That's
had
that's
several of sales reps you know from that handle all the states in the southeast, and they've told me
said the
that on
same
numerous
thing.
occasions.
Yep. I've even said it. Everybody talks about, privately owned archery only shop. I mean, that's not, for this many years and still going. But we appreciate it. Like I said, if you need something down that way in Pooler or in the surrounding area, jump on 95 and run up and down and get to him. It's not hard. He does a great job. He's got a great crew. Rodney down there and the rest of the gang, they are always doing. Me and Rodney always joke that we can't go shoot a tournament on Saturday because our bosses won't let us. Um, so we want everybody to host tournaments on Sundays. Um,
Well,
but
tell you what, since
yeah,
my arm has been hurt and I've had to be there on Saturdays, I've been a little bit lenient, because I do want them to still be able to enjoy some of
enjoy
the tournaments.
100%. But yeah, we appreciate it. Like I said,
Well, thank you for having me
that
on. I've chimed in on your podcast on numerous occasions,
oh yeah, a few times.
and I always you know like to always want the best for the archery community, and
Yep.
tournament archery hunters and things like that. Yeah, I just want to make the business and
Grow the sport.
better, grow the business, grow
That's right.
archery, and things like that. That's what it's all about. And oh, another thing, we've been working real close with the Effingham County 4-H. We've got a real big 4-H crew. Aaron over there and Regis do a phenomenal job with all the kids, and we've been
Yep.
sponsoring them for the last couple of years. Definitely want to give a shout out to those guys,
Hmm.
and all the kids that practice real hard to
Sure.
shoot the bows through the 4-H program.
Hmm. Well, look, I'm gonna click this on. If you know and you listening to this, you can't see the graphic, but the graphic is. You can find us on all of social media. We're on Instagram, uh, TikToks, X, Snapchats, YouTube, and Facebook. Please like, comment, and share and subscribe on all of those platforms. If you're listening to this, you're probably listening to it on one of your favorite podcast apps. Some of our biggest ones are Apple and Spotify and Google. So now it's called YouTube Music. So please like, follow, share, and subscribe on all of our platforms. It does help. If you are listening to this, make a comment so that, tell me what we need to do and how we did. And, if you didn't get to see it, you can say, Wild Bill needs to grow some hair, but he ain't had none in a long time. So why would he start now? But if you heard things right now, we ain't really have nothing on the date on the calendar except the TSO is October the 18th and a couple other things. S3DA just released their full shoot schedule for the year, and those all of those things are on our calendar. You can find it on the website www.georgiaarchery.com. Click the calendar page and see all of the shoots that are going on, where they're going on, and how they're going on. And usually, I have the location with an address and a map, so you can click it and find it. If there's something you want us to talk about on the show, please send us email info@georgiaarchery.com and we'll answer you. And then, the biggest things we want to grow the sport of archery, and that's what we want to do. So I appreciate it, Bill. Like I said, you're on that end of the country. We've been knowing each other for a while, and we chit chat about our, business, and that's all we really did tonight. But I wanted everybody to know I'm trying to hit everybody. I mean, this is Georgia Archery, right? We're trying to grow the sport across the states.
Absolutely.
So,
And one thing I
you know,
do want to say too is, guys, get out and support your local archery clubs. They're out there. They're not doing it for money. They're not doing it for the money. They're doing it because they love archery.
if they were doing it for the money, they wouldn't be in business because there is no money. There's no money in an archery club. There's no doubt about it. We do it for the love of the thing, and all of your local clubs, please go out if they're an NFAA, ASA, S3DA, whatever. Go out and support them. See what you can do to help to keep them around. Because if you don't help them and they don't have people show up, they're not going to be around much longer. I will say that Gainesville Archery is hosting the ASA State Championship. And so I posted that information out. So those are things that you can put on your calendar, and that's on the calendar now so that you can find it. That's all it's really. I don't know if you've been to Gainesville in a long time, but that's almost the same property that ASA used to be on when we was in Gainesville, Georgia. So
Oh, up at the horse arena.
yeah,
At the,
it's right
the
on.
arena up there.
Right close to that. Yes, sir, it is. So, but yeah, we appreciate it, Bill.
Thank you, John. I
And
appreciate it
and
myself,
and
and it's been fun
yep,
for the last hour.
yep. Well, take someone, teach them how to shoot a bow. It will last them a lifetime. Until next time, I'm Big John. That's Wild Bill, and we'll see you.
All right.